All right, so welcome to season 5, episode 11, Autumn Glory. Ooh. This one is just interesting to look at. It's like the top like third has this like blue tinge to it, and then it just like is super orange and warm towards the bottom, which is a pretty interesting contrast. All right, and time for me to not talk about the painting for the rest of the painting, because I feel like half the time that's what ends up happening is I talk about it for like the very start, and then it's like, all right, time to talk about whatever the hell it is I'm talking about from now on. But hopefully this is one that can be recreated well in Mario Paint. We'll have to see. 80 stream watch streak. Damn. What's your watch streak at, Frack? Also, I guess I'm just like done with Snapchat streaks, it seems, because the entirety we were at KGDQ, I did not even think about using Snapchat the entire time. So like, I guess I'm just like done. Because I think G kept our streak alive. But it's like, I've just been progressively like less and less. I've had like less interest with using Snapchat over time. Especially with the whole introduction of the whole dumbass AI chatbot thing that I couldn't give a fuck about. That you can't delete unless you pay for Snapchat Premium. But so I guess I'm just like, I guess streaks are just dead to me now. Sounds like it feels good to me. Honestly, it probably will be a feels good at the end of the day. Like, I feel like I also like wasn't getting notifications for Snapchats for whatever reason. I don't know why. I'm not sure what that's about. Maybe it's just a sign. I remember you said, Prac, like a month back at this point, I was talking about like potentially just uninstalling Snapchat, and you were like, yeah, maybe when Army and I hit 2,000, I'll uninstall it. Especially since we all know the classic Snapchat moment. It's just like, oops, I just sent a picture of like the corner of my room for the sake of keeping a number. Which I can definitely say that it definitely feels fun in a way to be like, oh, look, number big. But also it's like at a certain point, it's just like, eh. Like, it was easy enough to keep up with it, but I've like unironically just been forgetting. Like, I haven't even been thinking about using Snapchat. Like, when I was thinking about it, it was pretty easy just to be like, oh, yep, real quick picture of whatever. But seems like we might be done with that. Yeah, and as I already said, it definitely doesn't make it any more appealing by the fact that they were like, let's introduce this AI chatbot that you can't delete unless you pay for our stupid subscription service. Yeah, that's valid. Not caring about Snapchat streaks. I will always say Snapchat is just very convenient if it's like, oh, here's something I want to quickly show like a couple of people without having to go through the effort of like taking the picture and like going to Discord or whatever and like sending it to multiple people. Like, it's so easy. Like, it's very, very easy just to do that through Snapchat. But also at the same time, if you do just take the extra like a minute or so, you're probably chilling. Snapchat also high-key has been getting like turbo laggy on my phone in recent times, but that's also like partially probably a my phone thing being bad. So my phone definitely is not very good right now. Which actually, when I was cleaning out my closet, because for those who don't know, I was cleaning out my closet upstairs in my bedroom yesterday, and I got rid of a shit ton of clothes that I was never gonna consider wearing again, and I donated them, which was cool. And there was like a bunch of boxes that I found in there, because, you know, we like boxes around here. And one of them was the box for my old Pixel 1 XL, which, do I still have it in here? Yeah, I kept that Pixel. Might be in here. I don't know. Maybe not. I thought I had that somewhere. Maybe it might be buried under there because my desk drawers are a mess, but I don't know. I didn't even know I had the box for that still. I was like, damn, rip my Pixel 1 XL, because that thing died to boot looping for no reason. It was so sad. Yo, Ali Morel. How are you today? How's it going? I'm thankful to Snapchat because it helped me become closer to many of you. Honestly, same, Cloud. Cause yeah, like there are like people like you actually send a lot of like interesting things on Snapchat. So I will give it that. Yo, Creepy Stalker, welcome back. Yeah, on Sunday, being yesterday, I had 5 garbage bags completely filled with just old clothing that I donated. Do clothing donation bins like exist in y'all's areas? Because there's like a couple in town here. But I was surprised how much there was. Like, it didn't look like it was gonna be that much. But then, yep, 5 garbage bags completely filled. I'm like, okay. They've existed everywhere I've lived. The place I lived at for college, I don't remember if they had that or not. I can't remember. Actually parked next to one when we got canes the other day. Pausers. Also, Cloud, how's your deep dish pizza? Is that a deep dish pizza you posted? Because I know that's like the Chicago special is deep dish pizza, which I've never had a deep dish pizza. I think I've heard people say it's like very cheesy, so they've said they don't know if I would like it because of that reason. But I feel like I want to try one day just for the sake of it, you know? Because I don't think, to my knowledge at least, I've never seen a deep dish pizza offered anywhere in my area. That one was a pan pizza, so there was less cheese. Okay. I know there's you know, like Domino's and such serves like pan pizzas, which I know one of my friends was super about a long time ago. He always would get pan pizzas. So TI. Message cannot be replied to. What do you mean? Wait, did my message go through that I just typed TY croak? Like, I just got an error in chat. Nope. What the fuck? It shows it in my chat, but then it says message cannot be replied to. Can you not reply to a resub? Let's try that again. I'll just type it normally, I guess. I'm not replying. They usually have a lot of dough. What, deep dish pizzas? Yeah, it's just what I've been told. That people said that I probably wouldn't like them because it has a lot of cheese in them. Also, yo, Owl. Phantom, how are you? How are you today? Must be a bug, yeah. And once again, this sky, it has like the thing that's very difficult to recreate is pink. It has pink. And pink is like surprisingly not a tone that Mario Paint offers. You would think it would have pink. Yeah, I was just surprised by the char on the outside of the crust on your pizza cloud. I was like, damn. I know people like a little bit of char though on certain things. Like when I was helping with making the Chinese food at KGDQ, like someone like because I helped do the beef and broccoli, and some of the broccoli I was like, ooh, I know Skittle would like these pieces of broccoli just because like how they got that good char going on them. Get to go aquarium time. Okay, have fun. I hope you enjoy seeing the shark. Doing pretty meh, taking a break and trying to do other stuff. Played Xenoblade X for a few hours last night though. Is it did you like just start playing that recently? I have not played that game, I guess unsurprisingly. But I hope things start going better though. Boom. Go to aquarium. I've never been to aquarium except well, okay, not except, but like at SGDQ 2019, I think it was. Like we went to the Mall of America and we were gonna go to the aquarium that's in there. But then like it was gonna be like something insane, like $40 a person. And I think we were like, nah. So I remember Miles, or Snowman, being his Twitch name, I remember he said that like at a previous GDQ, like older than SGDQ 2019 or 2018, whichever one it was, I remember he said that he put like googly eyes at one of the exhibits, or like hidden at one of the exhibits somewhere, and he was like, you guys should go there and see if they're still there. And we were gonna go there and see if they were still there, but then we didn't go because insert what I just said a minute ago. Basically just started. Well, I hope it's a good experience. I've never played any Xenoblade game, but they seem to be pretty juicy from what I can understand. They're definitely a common example when people are like, oh no, the Pokemon games on Switch just have bad graphics because that's just the Switch. And then people are like, meanwhile, Xenoblade. And show how like impressive it looks. Which I have to say, not related to Pokemon, but talking about graphics, how they've shown, I've seen like a couple of like little comparisons of like upgraded Switch 2 game, or like Switch games that are upgraded with their graphics on the Switch 2, and it's not like super crazy from what I've noticed, but I definitely appreciate how some games just have like a little extra like crispness to them. Like I think the most I've seen was like Breath of the Wild and / Tears of the Kingdom. I guess like upscaling or just like whatever enhancements, and it definitely is a lot sharper, which is nice. I guess like, you know, me having played Breath of the Wild on MU, I was able to play with like anti-aliasing, which I'll always say, like there's games like Mario Kart 8 / Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which like, you know, they're very pretty games. They look really nice, but they are sorely lacking any anti-aliasing. Like if you give Mario Kart 8 anti-aliasing, it looks so nice. But it's just like so jagged. And you know, it's like blah 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 blah. Graphics blah 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 blah, blah whatever. But like I feel like anti-aliasing goes such a long way for games. Like how I know like that's one thing a lot of people have said about like the T2ID remake on Switch, how like the art style just lends itself to like that high crispy resolution so nicely. Most of the stuff like Prime 4 having 4K 60 and 1080 120. Yeah, the fact that it supports over 60 FPS is kind of crazy to me. Huge Nintendo like just like way from left field moment. That's why you love your M Classic. It fixes a lot of that, especially on Switch stuff. Really, I didn't know that would affect Switch stuff personally. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom ran at 900p. Damn, I didn't know it was a 900p. Like, they are pretty big games, so it's like, I feel like you would still expect them to run at like at least 1080. Damn, going into an era where Nintendo games just run at like at 1080p like consistently and 4K for some titles potentially. Damn, that means probably the next Smash game is gonna be like 1080, like 1080p, 120 FPS, probably. Wait, did they ever show if the Switch 2 has an Ethernet port on it? Because I was saying, like, if they don't have an Ethernet port on the Switch 2, Nintendo is, like, dumb. It does? Okay. Good. Because I feel like I never, like, noticed that myself, if they did or didn't put one on there. It's just inexcusable at this point to not have an Ethernet port on your console. Like, one comparison I saw floating around was Prime 4, like, Switch versus Switch 2, and a lot of people were like, well, this is, like, a year-old Switch trailer versus, like, Switch 2 stuff, so, like, things have definitely been upgraded a lot. So it's, like, not, like, super comparable, like, super fairly comparable, but I guess still, like, a little bit of comparison. Just generally seeing how things are just crisper. People were doing video comparisons between Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S and Switch 2 stuff, and it looks better on Switch 2. That's basically what consumers need. No visual and performance downgrades. Like, as long as it looks good and it runs well, we'll all be happy. So, yo Yoshi, good morning. How I miss Mario Paint Mondays, yeah. I never did end up doing, like, a catch-up one, which, like, you know, there's no, like, super obligation to do, like, a catch-up week. I was originally going to, but then I just vibed all weekend and didn't do that. Especially because on Wednesday and Thursday night, I slept like 2 to 3 hours each night. Like, I was so fucking drained. I took a bath, I think when I got home on Friday, and I low-key like closed my eyes at one point. And I was like dozing off in the bath. I was like, monk. I was fine, but I was like, damn, I've never had this feeling in the bath before. So I was like, I need a bath. I was like, Skittle, thank you for the 23 months. Good morning. Were you up and at 'em, Skittle? The Xbox Series S shouldn't exist, IMO, but that's another issue. I just hate the name, because there's like the Xbox One, which is already a shitty name, and there's like the Xbox, like, there's the Xbox, isn't there like a Series X and a Series S? Like, there's like 3 or some shit. Oh yeah, the Xbox One X. It's just like, why? Xbox One, Xbox One X, Xbox One S, and then Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S. Like as an outsider, it's like I have no idea. Like I know like the Xbox like One is the first one of these. That's all I know. This I'm pretty sure it is. But like, goddamn, that's such a flop of a name for all of them. And people thought the Wii U was confusing. Like, at least it's one console, not like 4 consoles. Xbox One X was capable of running 360 games in 4K. The Series S is not. Bruh. That's a bruh for me. That's a huge bruh for me. I don't know. I'll always say, I think owning an Xbox is just an L of a move. Like, I don't see the point of owning an Xbox over just, like, buying a PC at that point. Because, you know, let me see. Let me go on Amazon. How much is an Xbox Series, whatever the fuck you? Xbox. I don't know. Series X. Sure. Let's do that one. Xbox Series X, 1 TB digital edition, is 599 Canadian. It's like at that point, you know, like I'm not sure, like, you know, for like how much like budget PCs cost these days, but like I feel like you could just like save like a couple extra $100 and just buy like a cheaper like gaming PC potentially, and just get way more value out of it. Like going back to me talking about cleaning out my closet yesterday, which when I woke up today, well, like the third time I woke up today because I woke up and fell back asleep twice, whoops. But when I finally got up and had my glasses on, so aka I was able to see, like I noticed, like I acknowledged again, I'm like, damn, my closet is clean. Feels good. I'm happy for me that I did that. But I found my MacBook Pro box, and I will just never get over how much of a giant scam buying a MacBook is. Like, it is so ridiculously expensive. Like, my MacBook, when I bought mine in, I bought mine in 2017. It was like October 2017 I bought mine, and I'm pretty sure mine at the time was like I think it was like an early 2017 model was the one I bought. And when I bought it new, like basically new in the box, off of some guy on Kijiji, being Canadian Craigslist, and the guy gave me like $100 discount or something because I was like, I'm a student, please give this to me. It was like $2,600, and holy shit, biggest scam of my life. That thing is not worth $2,600. That thing was worse than my 2015 desktop PC that I already had. It was like such a scam. And I got a new MacBook like a month ago, but it was paid for by her school. So that would have been neat. Because meanwhile, my school was like, nope, you need to have a MacBook Pro, and we're not going to help you buy it or anything. What, you thought you get a discount? No, dumbass. Aren't the new MacBooks better than the old ones from my understanding? I mean, they should be, right? Also, how are you, Shaggy? Did I say hi? I don't know. I've been talking a lot, but I hope you've been good. So that's what I've heard too. Like I've heard Arma say for like music stuff, they're very good. But it's also just the thing is that like why like they're just so expensive. Cause like there was a certain point for in my college experience for me where I just wasn't doing any projects on my MacBook anymore, and I would just do everything on my desktop computer because it was more convenient, because it just ran everything faster. I don't know. That's my take at least. I kind of like the chiclet styled keyboards on laptops. At least I had one of those for a long time with this MSI gaming laptop that I had as a kid. As a kid, I don't know. I don't know. When I was like 16, I had one of those. But that thing was good. That was a good gaming laptop I had. That thing served me well. So shout outs to whoever has that thing right now. Or maybe it's in the garbage. I don't know. Because that thing is old AF right now. But that thing did me good. God, I remember like the joy I got when I owned that laptop and I was able to like play Minecraft at like a high frame rate. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. It felt so good. Because I had some shitty Dell and Inspiron laptop before and it didn't run Minecraft good at all. And then I got that gaming laptop and I was like, I'm in paradise. Like that was definitely one of the first things I did was load up Minecraft and be like, oh my god, it's running at like 300 FPS. Funny story with that gaming laptop is that so you have the laptop, right? Like the keyboard area, and then above it there was like, you know, the keys for like the power button, like speakers, whatever. And there was a button where you could enable and disable like the Wi-Fi. And when I got it, I guess like the Wi-Fi was disabled by default and I couldn't get it to connect to our internet. And I was like, what's happening? Why can't I connect to the internet with this thing? And thankfully, I remember I contacted the guy I bought it from, and the guy did tell me like, oh, you have to hit this button to turn it on. And I was like, oh, feels good. So shout outs to that happening. ThinkPad. I haven't seen a ThinkPad in a long time. You know, as a kid, I used to think that like those ThinkPads like with the small little like red dot in the middle of the keyboard for like the trackpad. I used to think that it would work like mind control, that you would just like put your finger on it and like be like, ooh, it'll just read where I can go with my brain. It does not, tragically. But as a kid, I was like, yo, does it do this? Because it's called a ThinkPad. I don't know, I was cooking with that thought as a child. As a probably like 9-year-old child. Last laptop you had was a Sony Vaio. Or Vio. Did that thing serve you well? You saw Amazon was selling tablets for 15 bucks a few weeks ago. I was like, the e-waste special. Like iPad tablets? Or just like some like generic no-name tablet? Know what tablets you're talking about. Those things are pretty prone to breaking, honestly. Which is interesting, because I just said how I think MacBook Pros are such a giant-ass scam in terms of like purchasing them. But meanwhile, everybody always says that iPads from Apple are actually really good. Like, it seems like pretty, like, everyone seems to be in pretty good agreement that they are, like, actually a good product, surprisingly. I literally thought the same thing with the ThinkPad's, not gonna lie. Yeah, it's called a ThinkPad. Like, come on. I want to, like, do some, like, futuristic, like, Star Trek shit or something. I've never seen Star Trek, but they probably have something like that in Star Trek. Yeah, like, it's weird that, like, the iPad is, like, actually, like, good, apparently. I only got that Sony laptop because the Acer laptop I had was Intel integrated graphics, and therefore you couldn't do your college assignments. I remember my MSI laptop. It had I think it was like a GTX or whatever like the prefix was. Like it was like a 660M GPU in it, I think. It's wild to me nowadays that there's like laptops that have like a mobile equivalent of like 30 series GPUs. Like I think that's crazy to me that they have those in laptops these days, and like they probably have 40 series versions now. It's crazy to me. Also, you wanna know what's really weird? I've been getting ads again for Alienware, like desktops, I think. Which is so weird, because I didn't hear anything about Alienware for like a decade, it felt like, and then I'm all of a sudden getting Alienware ads again. I'm like, whoa. That's weird. Getting an Alienware ad of all things. You can get a 2022 iPad from Walmart for $270. Meanwhile, a 2025 new one is like $350. Yeah, it's just crazy. Especially considering how like insanely expensive like iPhones are. Like I will personally always just think about how like, you know, like Apple I feel like used to be like very well respected just in the general public. Like I feel like there was like definitely a very good period where everyone was like, damn, these guys are doing cool things. And now it's like, damn, what the hell, Apple? What happened? At least that's my perception of Apple. I feel like they used to be pretty well respectable. Dude, I was watching, cause you know, we all know our favorite thing, AI, yay. I was watching like this Drew Gooden video the other night about I watched like a couple of videos, or like 2 videos where he was talking about AI stuff in general. And one of the ones he was talking about in like one of like the sections, I guess, in one of his videos was talking about like Apple Intelligence, like their AI garbage. And the commercials were like insulting. Like I remember like one of the commercials was basically showing like some like wife, I guess, who forgot her husband's birthday, and like it shows like the guy, like the husband, like opening presents from like, you know, like their kids that they made or whatever. And then like the wife like hits like a few buttons on her phone to make like some slideshow of photos, and it's like, here's my gift. And then like, you know, they look so like proud of themselves afterwards. And then I remember he made a good point. He's like, you know, this isn't even like a new thing. Like my phone's been making like shitty slideshows that I haven't asked them to make for years, which is true. Like I will randomly just get like notifications on my phone being like, hey, do you want to check out this slideshow we made from your recent trip? Or this like photo collage that we put together for you. So it's like, that's not even like a new thing. And then there was like other ads in there that was like, it was like in some like work conference, and the person, like I guess who was supposed to be like talking about the presentation, that they just didn't watch it or didn't look at it beforehand. The like Apple Intelligence, like one of the functions was like, oh hey, you can just get a quick overview of it. And then there was like some like 2 people like later, like 2 girls having like a conversation, And one of them was like, "Oh yeah, did you like check out that like book I sent you or whatever?" And then she was like, "Oh yeah." And then she like gets like a like text overview from her phone from Apple Intelligence, and it's just reading off of that. It's like, damn, like this is just like insulting to look at, because it's like treating everyone like like they just don't give a fuck. It's like, damn, I know you wrote this like email or text message to me, but I can't be bothered to reply to it, so I need Apple Intelligence to reply for me, basically, or read it for me. Some actual like dystopian, like y'all know in Wall-E, when they're on like the, I don't know, like the encapsulated like world on the ship where everything's like automated and nobody does anything. It's like that kind of dystopian shit. It's like, yep, nobody wants to do anything. Shout out to Wall-E. Still thinking about Wall-E like 2 months later. Yeah, I do remember you telling me that, Justin, how it's like they allegedly lost like a shit ton of like stock value or whatever because like ever since they announced Apple Intelligence. In other good news, I saw a thing that allegedly Tesla stocks super went down, so Pog. So good news of the day. Good news that every stock is crashing right now. Yeah. Yeah, Wall-E is a great film. Which, speaking of great films, while I was hanging out with friends this past week, we went to go see Princess Mononoke with like the throat with the 4K restoration in theaters, and that was really good. I had seen that movie before a long time ago, but that was my first IMAX film. I was very happy with that movie in an IMAX experience. Like I was like, damn, like I can like straight up like hear shit like behind me. Like the directional audio was like really cool to experience in person as someone who has never experienced that in a movie theater before. And the actual restoration, like the upscale of the movie was really good. Like it looked really crispy, and like there wasn't any like weird like artifacting or any weirdness to it. Like it just looked like normal, like as it just looked good, which I appreciated. Because I've definitely like heard about some movies in the past where it's like they use like some AI to upscale the movie, and like the whole movie just looks like super weird. And I'm no filmmaker. I never went to like you know, film school or anything like that, so I'm no expert on this topic. But like I know that there's the whole thing where it's like grain in movies, and how like I guess there's like some directors that like don't want film grain in their movies, and like others that do, or blah 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 blah. Or it's like when they like remaster a film, they'll like remove the grain sometimes. I was like watching a video a few months back about some James Cameron films, and I think like they were talking about how like in some of those movies like they like removed the grain, and it just made like the remasters like just look really shitty, because it kind of like sucks some of the life out of the film, I guess, as a way to put it. Yeah, the theater was pretty loud. I will agree with that. I do wish it was a tad quieter. I can agree with that. I think Sonic Colors used some sort of AI to upscale those cutscenes in the remaster. That is news to me, but also would be very on brand for Sega to do something shitty. Sega flops something for the 800th time. Nobody was surprised. It's honestly impressive how many like just shitty games Sega has put out, and they're still like around. Maybe it's because like I know they have like at least like some arcade games in Japan. I wonder how much that helps. They own Atlas with Persona. Oh, easy money for them then, unironically. But it's like impressive how many like shitty Sonic games they just put out constantly. I'm like, damn. How do y'all like keep fucking this up constantly? Y'all need to like axe like your entire dev team and just get some like new blood. Cause damn, you guys are not cooking. Or they're cooking like half the people on Hell's Kitchen cook, aka not well. Because Sonic certainly isn't. Yeah, for real. Like, I don't know how well like Sonic games actually sell these days. Like that, I'm not certain of. I just know for a fact like the quality of the games has been just consistently pretty garbage. With the exception being like Sonic Mania, which wasn't even made by like Team Sonic. So it's like the fact that like your probably like best game in the last like 20 years was made by like a company that wasn't you. Like I don't know, man. I'm no game developer, but like you know, I'm just saying. I was actually surprised to learn that a lot of the devs that made Unleashed and Generations went to work at Nintendo and helped with Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, and Xenoblade. Damn. Yeah, especially because like yeah, those are two games that people usually say are good. At least like people like still praise the like the daytime stages in Sonic Unleashed, saying that they're actually like pretty solid. I don't know if it's just because like a motion controls thing, because I played Sonic Unleashed on the Wii, but I definitely remember there was like one like nighttime stage where like you were supposed to do some like attack and it just would not work. I just like couldn't get it to work for so long. Damn, I wish I had a dark red, because this red, it's not really like that much darker in value. Like I don't have a nice juicy, a nice punch dark red or like dark brownish red. So I might just use black, honestly. Yasuhara left in the Dreamcast era, and he was the main level designer for every Sonic game until then. Rip a homie, or at least rip them for the Sonic team. It's so weird. Like Sonic games are just weird in the sense that like I remember like really liking them growing up, but then like looking back at them now, I'm like, damn, these games are like very sorely lacking in like quality control, just all around. I don't know, I'll always give it the comparison of like comparing Sonic Heroes to like Mario Sunshine. There's just like no comparison. It's like insane how much, like, even though Sunshine had like a year of dev time cut off, or how much dev time was actually cut from Sunshine, like Sunshine is still like such a more like just polished game, just in terms of just like the general game functioning as a whole. Because goddamn if Sonic Heroes is not polished in that regard. And I don't know about like recent 3D Sonic games, but goddamn if Sonic games aren't so bad about just having like giant auto scroller sections where it's like you're like there's like some kind of like spectacle of like a big thing happening, but you're just like hitting A to like jump from like bounce pads to another, like you're not actually doing anything, or it's just like Sonic auto running through an entire section without like you doing anything. Unleashed is the first real boost game, and it emphasizes just holding boost and going forward with minimal actual platforming. Yeah, like they need to really stop doing the whole like just like auto move thing. Wasn't Sunshine supposed to be a whole different game from what we got? I saw the first shots in the game and I was like, damn, that's so different from the Sunshine we got eventually. I assume you're talking about like that Space World footage. Probably. Which I guess like who knows like what it would have been like originally. Or what we could have gotten if there was more dev time. I know like a lot of people say that blue coins are very likely a result of cut dev time, which I would probably agree with. SM64 compared to Adventure 1 and 2 is a good comparison. Like, Mario 64 is dated in a lot of ways, but Mario still feels great to move. Yeah, it's Mario 64, like, you know, biased because I've speedrun that game a fuck ton. But, like, they put, like, a lot of effort into making Mario, like, feel good to play. Like, he just moves really good. And, like, you know, he doesn't, like, just glitch through the floor randomly, you know? Like, if you're just playing SM64, like, as a casual, like, I feel like you're not really gonna, like, come across many actual, like, bugs. Like, oops, Mario just, like, phased through the world when I was walking forward. Or, like, oops, I got soft locked on nothing and have to restart the game. I would say, like, Mario 64, you know, it definitely has, like, its graphics are very plain in a certain way. You know, at least, like, looking at, like, Mario 64 versus, like, a later N64 title, like Banjo or Majora's Mask, where it's, like, it's very impressive, like, how they, like, improved upon the graphic capabilities later on in the console's life cycle compared to, like, Mario 64. It still has like a certain like charm to it, I would say. Like, it doesn't look like flat out ugly, in my opinion. Like, y'all, have you ever seen Bubsy 3D, which I think is a PS1 game? That game, like, straight up looks unfinished. Like, it doesn't look like a final product. It looks like a tech demo. Like, I don't understand how that happened in the first place, in my opinion. So yeah, Phantom, it's like so tragic. Like how I've heard for like Prime 4, where like, they've allegedly restarted like the dev cycle on that game like multiple times, or at least once. I know at least once I've heard that they've restarted working on Prime 4 at least once, maybe twice. Yeah, that is true, Justin. Yeah, most things in Mario 64 just being invis-walls, which, yep. And it's very interesting to me for Mario 64 how, like, they allegedly, from what I've always heard, they had to reuse a bunch of music for stages because they were like, well, we're running out of cartridge space, so we can choose to cut a lot of music, but then have more space for more levels. Which I think is very interesting, and definitely the right decision to cut music in favor of having more levels. Since I would say that's more important. But it's wild how, like, that was, like, a compromise they had to make, and then it's like, you know, fast forward, meanwhile, something like Majora's Mask exists, where it's like, you know, there's so much music, and, like, you know, Banjo, again. Just being, like, good examples, in my opinion, of just, like, how much, like, the console, like, progressed, and how much, like, I guess they, like, optimized things. Like, I don't know if this is true, but I've always heard for the N64 that Mario 64 apparently only used like half of the N64's like power. I don't know if that's like technically true or if it's just kind of like they learned like how to do things better over time. I don't know. I don't know. After Tropical Freeze, Retro could literally not get a project approved because they weren't pitching a Donkey Kong game. It's kind of sad for them. Like that has to be like a little depressing in some ways. Okay, let's finally do these background trees. So I've been like neglecting doing them. Oh shit, G. Thank you for the 65 months, G. How are we today? Are you looking forward to more ranked repo grinding with Panza later? Y'all are on like a 2-day streak of repo grinding. Waiting on trios and squads to be implemented. I'd be down to play more at some point. I think just like last night. Well, yeah, I was playing Rivals last night. Yeah, that would make sense, Shaggy. Especially since allegedly the N64 is like really weird, just technically speaking, apparently. And like, you know, they were like in like a new era of like 3D games being like a more like, you know, it was very young at the time. Compared to like 2D games. Yeah, some games last night people wanted to play but nobody responded. I was playing Fortnite and then I was playing Rivals. That was my night. I was busy. I was busy. I was doing things. I've been really slow at this painting because I've been talking so much. And that's just the way of the road sometimes. Sometimes I just like stop painting to look over at chat and just talk for like 5 minutes. Feels good that repo though, they rebranded their like Steam page, or like, at least like the banner, so it doesn't have that ugly face anymore. So that's a feels good for me. I appreciate not having to look at that in my Steam library. This all goes back to when's the next Lethal update at Zeekers? That's what this all goes back to. Oh, shoutouts to Captain Toad. I haven't thought about that game in a long time. Which I never played like the standalone Captain Toad game. But I remember people liked that game. At least back when it launched, I think it was received pretty good. F-Zero 99. I never played that. I only ever played Tetris 99 out of all those like 99 games. You should whip out your GameCube adapter and play Rivals. I mean, you could. That's an option. You know, part of me considered streaming Rivals today. I'm in my arc of playing more again. But also I did play MM last night before bed. I was like, okay, we still got it, chat. Even though I literally didn't play a single bit of MM when we were hanging out this past week. Which is surprising, because I also realized, I was like, damn, we never did starting a randomizer and not finishing it at Prac. Maybe it's because, like, Prac and Fig weren't there the whole week. Maybe if they were there the entire week, we would have done that. And especially, I know like some people were saying how like, I forget who specifically said this, but I know like I definitely heard like at least one or two people say like that our setup could have been like a bit better. Which it would have been nice maybe if we had a bit more space, or like had like another setup maybe to play with for gaming. But I think what we did still worked good. Also, welcome to Earland Owl. Welcome back. You like the corner we had? I liked how it was separated. Yeah, I did like that regard of it. It would be nice if there was like maybe a bit more space, just like for seating, potentially. But yeah, I still liked our setup that we had going. We always find a way. There's always a way at the Airbnbs. That's always like a fun part, getting to the Airbnb, and it's like, all right, how are we going to, like, what tables are we going to move to get the setup going? They have Carlos as monitor stands would have been a better vibe. We definitely could have had the monitors closer, which could have been a little comfier potentially. But I was surprised how well our setup worked without the monitor stands. Like, I kind of like forgot about it at a certain point, and I was like, oh yeah, we don't have monitor stands, lol. Yeah, Owl getting the good old getting roped into visiting family without being asked first moment. God, does anybody else like have no? Okay, well. Let me rephrase. Like, I don't know about anybody else, but at least for me personally, I'm definitely one of those people with my relation to my family where it's like I don't know, at this point in time, I couldn't imagine personally ever wanting to spend like any time really visiting family, like at least like going like away, like all right, I'm gonna go away to like visit family for a week. I don't know, definitely not. I definitely don't have any relation with that for any of my family at this point, which is a little unfortunate maybe. Like I think my dad's talked about it a few times where he's like, damn, if I had the money, we could go visit back home, which is from Newfoundland, which is like northeastern Canada. And I'm like, anyways, like it would just be not a fun experience for me. Like, I think it's great for people that do have that experience with their family where they're like really tight. Like, I think that's cool. Like, I wish I had that in some ways, but just don't. Just don't. I don't know, blood does not equal immediate like love and caring for me, especially when it's like, you know, I am not close to any of my family really. Your family is complicated, but I'll just give you the short version. That is just complicated, yeah, which is valid. And I'll always, in my opinion, I'll always say that I think there should be no obligation to, it's like, you know, I think just because, like, ooh, they're family, you know, you have to super immediately care for them, which I guess is, like, good if you do, great if you do, but it's, like, at the same time, like, I don't know, basically all my friends, all my internet friends, I am infinitely closer to than any blood relative. I would consider them much more family to me, personally. And that is the honest truth. Even if that maybe comes off a bit cold, it's just how it is, unfortunately. And like, you know, I am definitely in probably a much better scenario than many people are in terms of family relations. But at the same time, for me, it's kind of like, you ever just feel like you never like clicked with like a lot of your family in certain ways? I feel like that's like the easiest way I can like put it. I'm thankful my IRL friends is all I can say, both here in Mexico and the States. You haven't spoken to a single blood relative since 2023. Yeah, it's basically just like my dad who like I'm living with. Like that's really like the only family I have any interaction with at this point in time. Another feeling too well. Yeah. Yeah, surround yourself with people that makes you happy. Which definitely very thankful for like just the existence of just like internet culture and like being able to have met so many people through the internet. I mean, I guess if it wasn't for like online stuff, I guess who knows what I'd be up to these days. But I am definitely very happy with the people that I know and care for. But at the same time, I think it's really cool where it's like there's people like like straight up like Pope's mom like just shows up like in his chat and like I know like Simply's parents for example are like super like supportive. So it's like I mean something like that could have been kind of cool. I think that would have been pretty neat. But everyone's experience and all that is very different and unique from each other's. I'm happy this. Wait, I am this happy, energetic, go lucky, beefy jog. My parents are the opposite, just bitter and cold. All I can say is that they overprotected me way too much. I feel like that's a classic with parents. I kind of like, I felt that to a certain degree growing up, where it's like, I felt like they were like a little overprotective. I do remember like my first GDQ being SGDQ 2019, which I was, or SGDQ 2016, which I was 19 for. I remember when I told my parents that I wanted to go to this, like they were kind of like a little skeptical, but then they were also like, well, you're an adult, so we can't really stop you from going. And then I went and had a great time. Which I think I definitely get that, like, especially growing up. Like, there's like this whole stigma of like, don't talk to people on the internet. But I feel like just internet culture has been so like normalized these days, or I assume that stigma has kind of died off. Especially since like my dad has met so many of my friends that I've met from the internet at this point. So like definitely like back then I definitely kind of understand like that being kind of wary of me wanting to go. It probably helped to a certain degree that like I was meeting Blue Bob at the airport, so like they were like actually seeing like yep, it's you know just some guy. It's not like I don't know some stereotypical like oh it's some older guy trying to kill you or whatever. Like I don't know. I don't know what kind of things people would say. But it's like, yep, it's just some guy. Shout out to Blue Bob. Huge shout out to Blue Bob. You live with friends that you met online 6 years ago? Hell yeah. It goes hard. Also, you said this like 5 minutes ago, Justin, probably, but if we do have the next BGDQ in Chicago, and you were saying how y'all would drive, probably, that could go hard. The Twitch partner approved setup material, pausers. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. Yeah, there's definitely a good difference there. I definitely agree with that one. So I'm sure there are like definitely other parents out there where it's like, oops, they don't let me do anything because they're afraid of me like doing literally anything. Because that definitely must suck for certain people who are in that situation. Also, rare footage of using a lot of red in this painting. I feel like I don't end up using much just of like this, just of the red. I feel like it ends up being a not very commonly used color. Maybe just because it's so like, what's the word? Like it's so vibrant, I guess. It can be hard to implement sometimes because it's just like a straight out like red. It's not like a red that has like a bit of like a touch of green put into it or something to like desaturate it a little bit. It's just like a bright, punchy red, which is also good in some scenarios. Colors are hard. Send tweet. You walked out of your house in high school because your parents planned a family vacation for spring break without asking me if I would even want to go. Yeah, I'm glad I never had to deal with that growing up of like, hey, we're going away on this. I know you're on a March break and you got time off school, but we're going on this trip for the next week. Yeah, that's actually literally the plot of a Goofy movie. Actually, now that I think about it. It's literally that of a trip that he doesn't want to go on. But is forced into going on anyways. But yeah, no, that's like a valid point though. It's like they should have at least asked you first. Like, whenever you went on a family vacation with your mom and brother, we both got a say in where we would go, which is a good feel. Because, you know, like, I wouldn't ever want to force somebody to go somewhere with me if they really didn't want to go. Just because it's like, well, we would need to go here so we can spend time together. It's like, there's probably a lot of parents that like try and push something like that onto their kids in an attempt of getting closer, but then it just ends up like pushing them further away. Which once again is literally part of the plot of a Goofy movie. Good movie, by the way. Shoutouts to that movie. Oh, just a good little film. Nice little movie. Okay, I need to wrap this up. I am, but this has been a very talk-heavy Mario Paint Monday, which is good. I like talking to the people. I always enjoy it. There's been a lot to talk about today. There's been many conversations happening. So I've just had more opportunities to stop my painting and look over at chat and respond. And it can be hard for me sometimes to like respond and paint at the same times. But then other times I am very good in other situations of being able to just like do both at the same time. But I guess maybe like just depends like how much like I'm looking over at chat. Really depends. Because like there are times like right now where it's like I'm not looking at chat, but I'm just like going on about whatever. So it's much easier for me just to like spew thoughts and keep painting instead of like trying to like look at chat and paint at the same time. Like that's very difficult to do. Don't like that one. I like that better. I like that better. Yeah, we'll take that. Why would I, as an 18-year-old, want to go to Hawaii with my parents and 27-year-old sister during spring break? Yep. Especially, you know, especially if you weren't asked prior. Like that's the worst part, just not being asked. But also, there are probably other kids who probably would have loved to do that with their family, but definitely shows like just the difference in relations between different families. Yeah, this is crazy how like this is basically like this is literally just the plot of a Goofy movie. Literally the plot of that film, or like kind of like part of like the message of that film. Literally at one point Goofy's like, "Oh, I don't know. Once I start loosening up, our relationship started getting better." I am thankful that I never had to grow up dealing with the stereotypical thing of like, it's my house, therefore you live under my rules. Like, okay. Okay, fucking like, this is a dictatorship now. Like, okay, parent overlord. I'm glad I didn't grow up with that. That would have been very fucked up. Yeah, the second Goofy movies, where Max is in university. That movie is definitely. I haven't seen that movie in a long time, but I definitely remember being not as good. I definitely did not like that one as much as the original, which I feel like is like the classic of many Disney sequels, where the first one is like a good movie, and then they make a sequel, and it's just kind of like not as good. Which is, love this. I love making a sequel that's just kind of like, ooh, we can capitalize on the popularity of the original and just just a cheap like money grab. Which I don't know how successful the original Goofy movie was. I'm not too certain of that one. Like how like box office blah 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 blah. That I'm not too certain of. Damn, I ran out of space at the bottom here so hard. It's a little unfortunate. Like I wish I had more room for this path here at the bottom, but I just don't have the space for it. Like this would be really nice if I had that extra space at the bottom, but there's no space for it. Because originally I was gonna put like the horizon line like higher up, but I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I think that wouldn't have looked as good, in my opinion. Damn, that's messed up, Phantom. Especially, like you said, it's like literally when you graduated college, because it's like, yup, what's the one thing college students have? That's right, a lot of money. Yup, college students are swimming in that shit. Which I'm sure is partially from like this, like the whole thing of like our parents' generation, where it was like seen, or like it was like back then where it was like you have to go to college to get a good job, or to get a good job. Like if you don't go to college, you'll never get a good job. And now it's like college doesn't mean like a damn thing anymore. It doesn't mean shit these days if you have a degree. The world cannot give a less of a fuck if you have went to college or not. That's right, Plankton, I'm looking at you. Nobody cares. The world doesn't care anymore. I definitely saw the meme on Blue Sky the other night where it's like, my parents at 25, yes, we will buy this house. And then it's like me today buying a Switch 2. I will never financially recover from this. I think I'm pretty much done with this. I don't know. I don't know what else there's to do for this. Yeah, this definitely took like an extra like 20 minutes probably, because yeah, I was talking so much this painting. Yeah, this is actually so tragic that I don't have like a dark, warm brown to work with. Like that would have went so hard if I had a good that tone to work with, but I think black was I think black is like the best choice I had to work with. Just need to work on this a little bit real quick. Just do a quick little touch up there. Yeah. I think I'm down to call this one finished here. I could keep working on it more, but I think at this point I've reached the point where I think it's pretty good as it is, and any more work would just definitely be kind of like, you know, very tiny, like just touch-ups randomly around, so calling it done there. I hope you all enjoyed this one.